If you go searching on YouTube for advice on how to grow your fan base on Instagram, how to market music or creativity on Instagram, you'll find a lot of bad advice. I don't want to waste any of your time, so I'm going to crack right into a lot of the bad strategies that we see out there, why they may be misguided or might be more trouble than they're worth. So first, engagement pods are a bad idea. Instagram is a machine learning platform, so if you feed it data that doesn't evolve into a pattern, then it's not going to do miraculous things for you. It's not going to yield some kind of inflection point where everything turns real. That's not going to happen. Because the algorithm, quote unquote, which is actually a series of machine learning models, it's not like a line of code or something like that. It's a big construct. The algorithm is built by literally thousands of people who all are smarter than me, than you. If someone's telling you that they have a strategy that's gonna help you hack or trick or get one over on the algorithm, they're Looney Tunes, clown shoes. Don't listen to that person. We can wrap all these bad strategies up into one big bucket that is unscalable, time-consuming, hand-to-hand combat spamming. Posting your link in the comments section of someone else's asking people to follow your page in the comments section. Reaching out to people who liked Tool and being like, my band's like Tool, why don't you check us out? You need a way to keep attention when you get it before you get it. You need recurring content. You need a way to set expectations with your audience and then fulfill those expectations. For instance, when the lockdown started, Andrew Schulz, comedian, started doing Corona's Got Talent, a talent show on Instagram Live. He would put messaging about it in his story. He changed his bio to indicate when it was, and he would make it at 5 p.m. every single time. So you always knew how to tune into Corona's Got Talent. In the meantime, while you're waiting for updates about that or you're waiting for it to go live, he's got tons of other recurring content, a weekly podcast, another show, something you can stick to. So when you become a fan of Andrew Schulz on Instagram or you come across some of his content, within the first few interactions, you know when to show up and where for what. Recurring content, if you don't have a way to keep them there, if you don't have a way to set expectations that cause them to come back, there's no point in getting them in the first place because they're gone. Gone, baby. Gone. So with that in mind, you're gonna wanna create a topic wheel for your Instagram account and just for your online presence in general. Because you can't just talk about making the music and releasing the music and what the music's about all day, every day for the next however many years. Like for me, I'm a super nerd about quantum and astrophysics and just like the bigger questions of the universe. I love exploring that stuff. And then I'm also into like marketing and entrepreneurship and like self-improvement, right? So that might go on my topic wheel as a musician. I might talk about that. English literature, English language, poetry, and fiction might go on my topic wheel. Fitness and exercise and powerlifting, that might go on my topic wheel. So we're fleshing out a three-dimensional character of what you're gonna present to your audience because I'm in the studio this week, new single dropping next week, I'm going live to talk about my new records tonight. Like that's gonna get old eventually. You need more dimensions to your character. And you'll find if you do an audit of some of the musicians that you follow who have very active Instagrams, you'll find that they all have mostly other topics they're talking about besides the music. And before you start actually getting new people, you're gonna want a curated look to your profile. Make sure you have some degree of intention in what people see when they land on your page. Next, you're gonna want a way to get in front of new people. Hashtags will get you in front of new people, but not at scale and not manually. If you release a post and it doesn't do so well among its initial distribution and it doesn't get much further distribution, it's never gonna end up very high in the search rankings for a given hashtag anyways. Some people follow hashtags. It's not a behavior that you can rely on for everybody. Neither is searching hashtags. So you need other stuff, right? It can't just be hashtags. And this is where people quickly get into the hand-to-hand combat. How do I get in front of new people? Oh, I'll just go spam my stuff in, the comment section of a Gary Vee live or whatever. On our ads, where I am literally saying why that won't work, people will post their SoundCloud link and it's like, guy, no one's gonna listen to you and I'm gonna delete it. Don't be one of these people. What we use, what most major brands use, what a lot of people use to build up their Instagram is advertising. My buddy runs a canvas company called IllushView. They sell print canvases. They make cool artwork, put it on canvases, advertise it with Facebook ads, and people buy these canvases from them and then they print them and ship them out to them. He's never tried to get Instagram likes. That's not what they do with their ads. They're trying to sell canvases. That's all their ads are about, is buy this canvas. But they've racked up over 100,000 Instagram likes because everyone who sees the canvas and actually digs it actually likes the page. If you're running advertising for a real business result and you are getting that business result, chances are your Instagram will go up. You get an ad system in place that runs on Instagram if you want your followers to go up steadily over time. Now, you can run an ad that's optimized to get them to follow, and that might work. I'm not saying it won't. But if you're also making money by selling products at the same time, or you're getting real new fans at the same time that you can communicate with through other means, that's good because you're not just paying for the followers, you're also getting other value out of it. Once you got your topic wheel and you've got an idea of how you want to do recurring content, you should schedule out an actual content schedule. What happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? What do you post? Why? And how are you going to populate it super quickly? Template that all out now before you start generating new attention. If you're willing to put in the next 2 years of consistent iterative habits, getting 1% better every day, I can guarantee that you'll be somewhere better than where you are today. But if you're not willing to make that time investment, if you're not willing to have patience, if you're not willing to create a set of habits that you can repeat on a daily basis, you're probably not gonna have success. If an athlete goes into the gym and they just kill themselves, they do something completely unsustainable every time they go in the gym, they're gonna have a lot less successful gym days because every time they go into the gym, it's a nightmare. They're doing something that they can't repeat, something that they can't keep up day after day after day. Whereas an athlete who builds a routine in the gym that allows them to consistently progress without killing themselves, without getting burnt out, they're gonna have way more success. So what we can see here is that what matters is the sustainable, repeatable routine, not blowing out the gauges on some strategy just to get it to happen. Be committed to the routine, the process, and your goals will come to you. But if you're willing to do that, I do have some suggestions for how to craft your posts that should net you some increases in your average engagement. Now, I did a video on this particular tip, and I do recommend that you check that out because it's got a whole lot of information, but ultimately we've discovered that writing longer copy has been better for us in terms of engagement. People have short attention spans, so you should make your content short. The text in your post should be very short. Your video should be 30 seconds or whatever misguided, dumb idea people are touting right now. People love longer content, right? Podcasts, Joe Rogan's podcast, 3-4 hours long. The most popular podcasts in the whole world. Do people hate long form content? No. YouTube videos, are they 2 minutes? No, they're 10, they're 12 minutes. Longer form content proved on YouTube to work out better in the long run, even though people thought we should keep our videos to 1 minute. You shouldn't. People want to engage with content. They don't want to engage with a post that's nervous that they're gonna run away. That's like being on a date that's like super needy and desperate and just doesn't want you to leave. Our highest engaged post, the top 10, is mostly super long copy. Short copy does have its place. There are instances where we've gotten just as much engagement with short copy, but the major trend is that the longer the copy, the more likely it is to get a high amount of engagement based on all of our posts. I recommend that you run an experiment, that you do try writing out long, heartfelt, straight from the hat copy, long copy. Pick out hashtags. I'm gonna get through this really quick because there's just so many places you can get this information. When you start writing in a hashtag to an Instagram post, you get a pop-up of all the hashtags that fit what you're typing, and next to it, you'll see the number of posts that have been posted with that hashtag. You don't want the 5 million or the 20 million. There's just so much competition there, you're very unlikely to bubble to the top. By the same stripe, you don't want the 2,000, the 3,000 post hashtags because nobody's searching those hashtags. Nobody's following those hashtags. You want to fill out your hashtags with stuff that people are paying attention to but isn't hotly contested with millions of other posts. We just include 20 to 30 of the same hashtags at the end of every single post. The carousel feature of Instagram. Now, I first got this tip, I first learned about this from an awesome YouTube channel for graphic designers called The Future. One of our highest engagement posts of all time was a 10 image carousel where I went into Photoshop and I created graphics to kind of tell a narrative across that carousel. The great thing about a carousel is that it's like a sideways sales letter. It's a chance to have a conversation through a flow of content. This year, as we bring on graphic design help, as we bring on someone to manage all of our social media, we're really going to be going in deep on this carousel concept because the second that we did it, it proved to be fruitful. So now when it comes to optimizing your Instagram, I do recommend that you use the highlights feature. You can take a collection of stories, put them as a highlight at the top of your profile, and this can give viewers a world of content to dive into right when they first discover you. If you have a topic wheel, your highlights can be based on your topic wheel. It can be all the different things that you talk about and then content in the form of stories for those things. Or it can be like the menu on a website. It could be your shop, your different products. It could be your videos. It could be your music. You could put examples of your music videos in a story stream. But there's all these different creative uses of highlights and you should leverage that. If your bio is the only real estate that you have to get someone landing on your profile to follow you, then use it. Use that shit. Yes, some of the things I've said here may have been said before by other people. Yes, this may be a collection of information that may have seemed obvious to you. But what I entreat you to do is to just follow it. Just to try out this system, this collection of tips. Because cumulatively, they have made the difference. What's gonna go most into your Instagram growth is your system-wide growth, your entire whole growth. Which brings me to my final point. Don't over-glorify Instagram. Instagram is a traffic store. It's a place where you can get traffic for other things. Having a huge Instagram, that in of itself, is not going to yield you a successful business. Don't over-glorify it. That's all I'll say. I sincerely hope that these tips have been helpful to you. I hope that they help you get a larger following over the long term. I hope that you start growing at a greater pace. And if we can create that trajectory change where we just shift you a couple of degrees, in a year, you'll be somewhere completely different than you otherwise would have been. I've been Circa for Full Stack Creative. If you liked this video, if it was helpful to you, and if you feel that our content would be helpful to you in the future, please consider liking the video so that other people know it was helpful, and subscribing so that you can stay in touch with all of the content that we put out. And if you do that, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.